I didn't sleep much after the campsite job. Kept seeing that grin in the trees, blood steaming on pine needles. 3 days on the cot, ribs in a cage of tape, bruises blooming yellow and purple under the bandages. The medtechs came in shifts, all in the same washed-out greens, all with the same look. Pity, or maybe fear. They tried to patch me with the standard doses, but I'd hit my monthly limit. So they gave me the bootleg cocktail, the one that tastes like battery acid but buys you a few more hours upright. I took it, better than letting the bloom dig its hooks deeper, I guess. HQ didn't wait for me to finish the cup. Gray envelope stamped with that sterile red ink field log number 7. Bitterglass Range logging tract, feral giants migrating south, possible third-party threat, codename Rend. They told me to observe, neutralize if necessary, their idea of a joke, as if anything out there ever gave you a choice. Baird ran a hand across the grooves, whistled low. His voice sounded too small in the hush. A half-mile up the ridge, the skidder yard loomed, metal husks, abandoned mid-task. Chainsaws dangled from hooks like meat in a butcher's window. I smelled diesel and something else, something that shouldn't exist. Baird found a loader cab with the door torn off its hinges. Safety glass lay in diamond shrapnel on the snow. Red sprayed across the seat, not blood anymore. Frozen, crystallized, black at the edges. I turned away, gut twisting. The mess hall was worse. 3 walls, no roof, a single generator wheezing like a dying lung. Inside, a giant slumped against the cinder block, eyes frozen open, blood icicles dangling from a throat that wasn't a throat anymore. Bloom runners had already rooted in the wound, red threads weaving new shapes. The parasite in my skull perked up, tasting, savoring. I scraped a sample, sealed it, and muttered a promise I wasn't sure I'd keep. Not today. Not yet. The wind shifted, sharpened, carried a smell like antifreeze mixed with rot. I tasted metal on my tongue. Baird paused mid-step, cigarette dead between his fingers. He pointed up the trail claw marks, wide as my spread hand, sunk into the ice like the ground itself had tried to fight back. We moved slow now, every crunch a gunshot in the hush. My breath caught ragged in my throat. Baird's steps grew short, ragged, like even he couldn't joke his way out of the cold. The forest felt too big, the night too wide. The bloom whispered a warning I couldn't decipher, like a scream with no words. We found the clearing at the ridgeline. Moonlight turned the snowfield to glass. 3 living giants paced like caged dogs, shoulders hunched, steam curling off their breath in ragged plumes. They saw us. They didn't charge. Their eyes, flat, black, old as time, fixed on the timberline. Something moved in the dark. The trees bent, split. A shape taller than the pines unfolded itself, peeling out of the shadows like a wound opening. Rend. It didn't walk so much as glide, a patchwork of stolen fur and meat, stitched by hands that hated the living. Where a head should have been, a bone prow split like a jawless grin. Cartilage flexed in the moonlight, pink and pulsing. I smelled its breath before I saw its face. Orchids rotted in antifreeze, copper sharp enough to cut thought. The thing didn't roar, didn't posture. It just existed, and that was enough. The giants charged first, old pride dying hard. One leapt, claws out. Rend moved with impossible grace. One swipe, one giant's arm pinwheeled through the air, landing 30 feet off. Another lunged, jaws open to bite. Rend's claws hooked its throat, lifted it off the ground and peeled it like fruit. Steam hissed from the open wound. The third giant bolted, shrieking straight down the hill, straight at us. Baird raised the deagle. I grabbed his wrist. "Let it pass," I whispered. The giant barreled by, eyes blind with panic. The snow trembled from its steps. That's when I understood. Rend only killed what fought back. Worth was measured in resistance. We'd just volunteered. Let's make us worth it. Baird pulled a satchel charge from his pack. Stale sweat, yellow plastic, copper wire. The plan was simple. Lead it to the switchback. Drop the mountain on its head. Simple plans are the ones that usually get you killed. We started by desecrating its kill. I jammed my knife into the giant's cooling chest, tore free a rib fragment. I threw it at Rend's prow. The bone hissed where it struck cartilage, black ichor sizzling in the snow. Ren turned. The grin widened. The forest died. We ran. Baird shouted every insult he knew, voice hoarse, arms windmilling. Silver rounds fired at the sky. The thing followed. Not fast, but inevitable. Trees bent in its wake. Snow melted under its steps. It was close enough I felt its breath on my neck, sickly, sweet, chemical. Halfway down the switchback, my stitches tore. Hot blood soaked the tape, pain flaring like a magnesium burn. I stumbled. Ren closed the gap in one stride. Baird turned, fired point blank. Silver rounds punched cartilage, but Ren barely staggered. Its claws came sideways, a blur of meat and bone, caught Baird's shoulder and flipped him like a rag doll. I heard his scream and it broke something inside me. I emptied my deagle at its chest. Sparks, smoke, black ichor geysered. The thing shuddered but kept coming, its prow flexed, split, and I saw the core of it. Wet, trembling, alive. I lunged with the knife, but it slapped the blade aside, claws raking my ribs. Pain buckled me. Blood hit my tongue, warm and thick. Rend loomed, breath rattling. It pressed a claw against my chest like a judge weighing a sentence. I felt its weight, more than physical. It was a verdict, worthless or worthy. "Hey, ugly, try me." Baird's voice cut through the haze, ragged but defiant. His one good arm dragged him to his knees, deagle in hand. He fired. The slug punched into Ren's prow. Cartilage split, black ichor fountained. I found my knife, don't know how, and drove it into the wound. My hand sank past the guard. The thing shrieked, a noise that curdled thought. It flailed, claws shearing air. Moon, time to move. The satchel charge blinked on Baird's belt. He thumbed the remote. I let go, fell backward. Ren turned to finish Baird. He spat blood, grinned. Mountains got the last word. The click sounded tiny. The world ended, light swallowed everything. White hot, soundless. Snow collapsed like a lung. I felt myself lifted, hurled, weightless in the dark. Then impact, bone on ice, lungs empty, ribs broken. I skidded. The world folded into a coffin of snow and stone. I was buried alive, trapped in a cold blue darkness. My breath fogged the air pocket, shrinking every second. I clawed upward, blood smearing the ice. Every movement was knives. My left leg wouldn't respond. My right arm burned like fire. The bloom in my skull whispered, "Let me fix you." I ignored it, kept digging. I punched through, air flooding my lungs. Night stretched infinite, stars cold as graves. Snow still fell, the mountain reshaping itself. Ren lay buried, maybe dead, maybe dreaming, I didn't care. I'd take the illusion of safety. A groan from the drift. I dug until I found Baird, face bloodied, breath shallow but alive. "Told you we'd warm this place up." He laughed, a wet rattle. I propped him against a half-frozen loader tire, held his hand like an anchor. HQ's birds thudded overhead. Spotlights danced on the slope. The night roared like the sea. The bloom whispered in the hush, promising healing, promising hunger. I closed my eyes. Let the cold take me for a moment, let the mountain decide if I lived. The next breath might kill me, but it was still a breath.